Okay, I'd like to talk about the left-hand control panel. We've already sort of talked about portamento, so I'm not going to talk about that. But let's talk about this wacky pitch bend. What you probably think you're seeing is just sort of a slider, but it's not a slider. It's a mechanical thing. It's spring-loaded, so you push it up and it'll go back. It has this kind of slow return, but it's really satisfying because you don't have to put your finger in a notch on a wheel and then try and sense it. You're really actually bending something. By pushing it forward, you could feel it bending forward, and it gives quite a bit of resistance. So you can make very controlled bends with it. It's really the most satisfying pitch bender I've ever used. Basically, you control the amount by this knob. There's N, M, and W. So I'm going to guess that's narrow, medium, and wide, although I don't know for sure. Narrow, let's see, is a whole step. Medium is a minor third. And wide is an octave. Which is awesome. So you have this great combination of the basically, I don't know about you, I'm not much of a pitch bend person, but I would say that if I were to use a pitch bend, major second, minor third, and octave are the settings that I use the most. So that's cool. And it has this great mechanical resistance lever, basically is what it is. It's very strange, but it's awesome. It's probably something that once it breaks, it's a hassle to replace, which is probably why we never saw it again. Okay, and so next, let's get to this, Brilliance. Now, usually when you see Brilliance, we're talking about kind of some half-assed tone knob that's 6 decibel per octave and just either increases brightness or diminishes brightness. And that is exceedingly dull when it comes to synthesis because it's like a tone knob on a stereo. It just really doesn't do a whole lot. But Brilliance here is a totally different thing. What this is it is a voltage control for your filter cutoff for VCF1, VCF2, or both together. So you're basically able to control the filter cutoff of 2 knobs at once with this controller. And that actually makes it into kind of a traveler, like the traveler concept on the old Korg stuff. And I mean, in a way, well, we'll get to that, but basically it allows you to use 2 filter cutoffs in tandem, which would be interesting if you had 2 low passes, but instead you have a whole bunch of things. So you can get really different filter sounds simultaneously, and you can sweep them simultaneously for some really cool effects. Let's listen. Right now I have VCF1, basically just a high pass filter with relatively high resonance and the envelope generator happening. VCF2 is a low pass filter, again with high resonance, but a different filter cutoff setting and different envelope generator depth. It's a pretty cool sound anyway. But then when we start, if we like go up with the Brilliance slider, it takes away the low end on the high pass filter and just opens up the entirety of the sound for the low pass filter. And then the opposite, the high pass filter opens all the way up and the low pass filter gets too dark. So we basically can create some really interesting effects. Also, I should point out that I have a negative envelope, a negative EG1 on VCF1, so that makes things sound a little bit different too. But let's use the same envelope. By using this, you can get two different sounds that have different filter cutoff settings. So you can make two different sounds exist on the synth at once and fade between them. Another cool thing you can do is put both of them on band pass. There's just a tremendous amount of really interesting sounds you can get using this function. Whoops. In this one, having the filter cutoff set to two different settings allows you to change both of them at the same rate, but because they have different settings, it affects them differently. Yeah, really cool. By using low pass and high pass, you can actually generate a band pass sound. So I hope you can hear like really the weird, cool filter effects you can generate by sweeping these two different filter cutoffs at the same point. Now, don't forget that you can also sweep them independently. So right now I have it switched to 1, so it's only going to sweep filter 1. And we can do 2 too. All of a sudden we have this really great bass sound. And you can really, it can help you crossfade between different aspects of the two different synthesizer channels. And that makes for something really, truly amazing. It's not just an expressive control, it's also a synthesis function. It's a great deal of fun. One of my favorite things about the synth. Really amazing. So simple, just a slider, but the way that it affects the filter cutoff, and then the way that we get to enjoy this unique filter arrangement and the great tone of those filters all together makes for this one little slider a majorly cool feature. All right.